This is a Turck Talk World of Automation podcast and the second part of our conversation with our guest, Christian Wolf, Managing Director of Turck Group. Hello, Christian. Welcome in the studio.
Great to be here today and looking forward to our discussion today.
Christian, you said about these all changes in the industry. 80s and 90s was a time when the IT revolution came to the industry. Then we had a data revolution, I may say, because a lot of data that we have from sensors and the other devices. And now we have the next revolution, AI revolution in industry. I think that there will be a moment that we talk about a bit more. But are these crucial points comparable to one each other? You think? IT revolution, data in industry, and AI now.
I would say it's digitalization. I would say is comparable to electrification. Because it is a steady evolutionary step, even if it's fast. AI is, I would say, we don't know the end of AI today. Also, I don't know it. But I think it's going to be comparable with nothing because it's the speed of AI development that we see. And I had I was fortunate to listen to a good speech from somebody from Microsoft that AI, the speed and the performance of AI is doubling every 3 months. And if you can see what today is possible with AI, both in the industrial sector, but it also will change the workforce. It will change on everything that is easily repeatable is going to be done by AI, right? In the past, we had translation companies that did translation for us. You don't need that anymore. But we also see AI today in our products. We came up with an AI vision camera. So that means if you take a look on the old automation pyramid that is shifting towards edge devices, we talk about digital twins today, and you need data. And on top of that, machine learning and AI will do things with, let's say, going from condition monitoring to preventive maintenance. And I think AI is going to be the game-changing technology of the future. Sometimes I would say it's even scary if you see what AI is able to do. But I would say here we are in the very beginning. But I think AI is comparable with nothing else from the speed and the impact that might create, not just to the industry, I would say even to the society.
That's the question: how it will be implemented in the industry and maybe in some applications, right?
Yeah, in some applications, but take the matter of fact of the learning. When we studied, you had to go read a book. You have to check. You have to invest time in understanding things. I would say that's gone, right? If I take a look to my kids. They are now, the one will turn 18, the other one is 19. They push a button and they have everything in 30 seconds. So the question will become, how do people learn, right? What is the next level of learning? And that is
everything is at the hand,
available, right? What is the human added value? That's going to be the big question. And the question is on how do we make sure that our kids learn. And they will have to learn differently than we did. Very clear. And we also have to learn differently that one thing the AI doesn't make possible is emotional intelligence. The emotional intelligence is going to be very key. We don't need that on the shop floor probably because here we are screening data. We take a look that there is no unexpected downtime. But from a workforce perspective, that is going to change a lot because it changed a lot on how do we make decisions, how do we find the right people for the future, and also how to secure workforce, right? And how to readjust the workforce in value-add works and not repeatable let's say, manual work, because this is going to disappear in the next years, definitely. And it's going to be a big shift, industry-wise, but also in a society and in the workforce.
So, Christian, when do you think the AI will make key business decisions in the industry or in companies?
I always will hope it's going to assist key decisions. And I hope maybe in 5 years, you and I, two avatars, would talk to each other. Maybe. I hope that doesn't happen. But it has the power of assisting decisions very well. And it has the power to drive decisions faster. You always have to check and balance, right? And AI is not perfect. You need experts, and you still need to make sure you understand engineering processes. You need the technical stuff, because you also have to readjust. AI can make mistakes, but also human can make mistakes. But I think the development of AI will lead to less mistakes, and it's going to be a very, very important assistant for decision-making processes in the future. And I would say it already starts today.
And Christian, let's go back for a moment to your view, as a company, your view of Turck presence as the global brand.
Yeah, for us, I mean, our claim is your global automation partner. And that's a promise to our customers, because that means that we are close to our customers, and that we sometimes call it that we are always a good neighbor. Wherever we are in the country, we want to have an impact to our customers and our industries. For us, it means, on the one hand, having a global presence today in 32 countries with our own subsidiaries, but in further 60 to 70 companies with sales partners. So that means, first of all, we need to have coverage throughout the world, that the promise that we're doing, your global automation partner, that this is reality, that every customer who is in every region of the world can talk to us. The other thing is also, and that's also a shift that we are doing, today we have 6 production places, 2 in Germany, 1 in Poland, 1 in Mexico, 1 in the United States, and 1 in China. And we will definitely expand also our global production footprint into other regions of the world, because we have a clear strategy, and that was a big change from the thinking a little bit of the founders. I mentioned they always had to believe every core competence has to come out of Germany. And today, with the trend also of deglobalization, right, that we are experiencing, we need to have our global production footprint, but also engineering capacities more into the regions. This is what we will heavily expand, because we need, with the changes that we see, we need to have a higher supply chain resilience. We need to be more independent of foreign exchange rates, of tariffs, right? Big words these days, that are impacting us. And this is why we decided that we have a clear local for local strategy. And we as a company decided that we want to have 70% of our continental revenue built, sourced, and engineered in that region. And that is a shift that we are pushing since 5 years to build that. And we are getting closer and closer to that, to have that, so to say, triage strategy, Europe, Asia, and Americas, to build that further down the road in being really a global partner with a full value chain in those regions.
Let's not forget about the few very important fields in today's industry landscape. I mean, sustainability, energy efficiency, and you said about the footprint, I mean about the environmental footprint. And what concrete contributions does Turck make in these fields?
Yeah, first of all, it has two views, right? The one thing is that we make sure that we are CO2 neutral as a company. That means we are investing in our own sustainable circular economy to make sure that we create our own energy. That is going to be a path that we follow. I think sustainability is a key for all of our customers. The climate change is real. We have to make sure that we leave the world minimum as good as we lived our lives for our kids.
Yes.
And I think a lot of industrial companies fully understand that we need to be more independent, and sustainability, I view automation and digitalization is the bridge to sustainability.
Right.
Because without automation processes, without smart data, without making machines smarter, more digitalized, sustainability isn't possible. Because we have to understand how to control power in a machine. We have to understand how to optimize energy of a machine. And this is where our sensors, where our solutions come into place to make that possible. And this is why automation and digitalization is really going to be key for the industrial sustainability. And the other topic is obviously we as a company, but also as a society, that the world is going to be electrified. The German ZVEI, where we are a member of that association, believes in the all-electric society. And I think this picture shows it very well, that the automation is the fundament for the all-electric society of the future. And everything when it comes down to electrification, but also power consumption, power creation, and having green energy for the future, and also for the future of our kids and for the future of our company.
That's right. These are very important factors that you mentioned, but in our previous episodes of Turck Talk, some of our guests said that the automation is also must have because of lack of workforce. Many companies all over the world, they have a similar problem. They don't have enough workers to the industry, to the plants. So automation is also an answer for this problem, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Tomasz. And I mean, if you take a look on the four big mega trends, one of that is demographic change, right? Our society is getting a little bit older. We don't have enough kids. So we see the lack
We are from the boom.
We are from the baby boomers, exactly. But we see that is changing. Automation definitely is an answer to that. That's quite clear. But it's not only an answer to demographic change and to less skilled workers. It's also a question to being cost effective and being competitive in the world of industry and automation. I think that's an important part. And if you take a look on the vision that is going to happen, today we are still talking about the older robots we know, but also humanoid robots will take more and more place in industry spaces. Those humanoid robots are filled with sensors and automation equipment, right? So I think we will see a progression. And today we see some digital factories already where you hardly see any people. And that trend is going to continue. And automation and digitalization is going to be key, especially for Europe, especially for higher labor cost countries staying competitive. That's going to be a key element in positioning us competitive also to Asian competitors, but also competitors from the US. We need to strengthen the European core, the industrial European core, and that can only happen through automation and digitalization.
Mm-hmm. And we are talking about the digital world and about all the consequences of this. And what are, in your opinion, the main challenges in this today's crowded digital world? I mean, there is also a change in customers' approach to the product, how you try to adapt to this reality.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think what we all experience that has been very different. It's an information overload, so to say. So, and it's taking a look on the industry. The key element is how to extract smart data out of big data, right? That's from the industry perspective. On the other hand, what I also see, there are challenges ahead of us. If I really take a look on the deglobalization that will have an impact on how to position the companies, and the digitalization has a very high speed in the meantime. I would say if I take a look, the speed of change that we experience after COVID, after 2020, because the challenge is not every technology itself. We have simultaneously technologies running at the same time.
Right.
Automation is increasing, digitalization is changing the world. Now AI comes to us. We want to decarbonize the world as well. And now we have also deglobalization. So I think all this topic...
This is multi-path develop, right?
It's a super multi-path, and it's sometimes people say, yeah, it seems so complex, and it is that complex, right? And it's not, you don't have easy answers to that. And as a company, I think for us, it's really important to be ahead of those technologies, understanding. Turck is a medium-sized family company. We will not disrupt the world, but we need to be a fast boat, and we need to fastly adapt to those technologies, because speed is going to be an important piece. It's not about always the quality and the best solution. It's how fast you can adapt, how fast you can customize. And what we see in our own company is that I would say even 10 years ago, we were a pure hardware-driven company. Today, software is becoming the most important differentiator for our customers. Software is becoming an important piece to our products. There is no product without a firmware, at least. And I think that's also a shift in positioning the company to build more platforms and customize product more through software and not through hardware. And those topics are all coming at the same time. So at least challenging, but also interesting times.
Yeah, and how to simplify the customer journey in this environment?
There is not the simplification, right? It depends on the customer need. But I think for us, what is important, and this is what automation and digitalization is, simplify the integration. I think this is our theme, right? There is our customers have a very good sense of the hardware. They understand the hardware. But I think what is going to be key is how to simplify the integration. And for Turck, that means that we need to be open. We cannot produce or develop proprietary systems. We have to be adaptable. We have to be interoperable. And we have to fit in any existing automation infrastructure. And the integration part of our hardware, a seamless integration into the existing automation architecture and also in the automation strategy of our customers, that is going to be the key for success in the future for us, but also for our customers, because seamless integration means less integration time, less integration knowledge, and with that, being more cost effective.
Lots of interesting points, and we are talking about these the environment of the market, which is changing constantly and in very dynamic way. I think that what it may be the problem for many companies, how to plan and how to predict effectively in such a chaotic and unstable world. What is your way? What is your plan to handle with this?
Yeah, that's really a very great question.
Because I know that you in Germany, you like to have everything in order. We love to plan. Is planning a good thing nowadays, or you have to maybe react spontaneously to the market? when I talk to the people from the American companies, they said that American like to just put the product on the market and then maybe correct some things. And you like to have a very well-prepared product for the client. How to do these things now?
It is obviously a great challenge. If we take a look, let's say, and again, I would say after COVID, before COVID, the world was pre-plannable, I would say. We did our planning, we did our products, and we hit it the plan. After 2020,
That's no longer
we never hit it the plan, right? We expected 20 to be a good year. It wasn't a good year. 21, 22, 23, we grew like hell. We did not expect that. 24, we fall down. 25 went up. And I think only this shows that also, I mean, you obviously have to plan. You have to have a long-term vision, but it makes no sense to plan for 5 or 10 years. You have to know, okay, this is my direction. But I think what we also learned, you have to plan, first of all, in different scenarios. And I think you have to break it down in smaller pieces and smaller milestones, both in a company investment planning, but also when it comes down to product planning. We have to learn, and not just from the Americans, we see the Chinese competitors coming, and there is the expression of China speed that we feel everywhere, that the product cycle and the product development cycle, and you mentioned that, a German engineer likes to have 110% product, right? And I think we don't have the time anymore because innovation is a function of time. That means sometimes you have to go out with a, so to say, MVP, what the development engineers always say, a minimum viable product in order to test together with the customer, to do the fine-tuning with the customer. This is not a typical spirit of a German engineer. He likes to have the full-blown solution, but I think that change is also crucial. To be fast, because speed matters. And the innovation, as I mentioned, is a function of time. You need to be fast, because the life cycle that you come up with an innovation and you are alone for 5 years, those days are over. Usually you have 1 to 2 years. You have to place your innovation. You make a difference, and other companies will catch up very, very fast. So it's a dynamic world, and that has to change also the organizational mindset in how to do things differently. So big challenge.
We are talking about the changing global landscape of the production, of the logistics, and about warehousing, shipping, and the other things, which changed a lot in the last few years. Things accelerating at the very high rate now, and there is also a discussion about the role of Europe in this global landscape. We can hear the voices that Europe should regain its productive strength. How can we do this? Is it maybe wishful thinking, or is it a reality? Just we have to just grab this and do the things right. What is your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so first of all, I think it's important to also remind ourselves that Europe has a lot of strengths as well. Sometimes we tend to forget. We just see the downside. We have a strong industrial backbone. Europe is still in a lot of, I would say, technology fields in the very good position. When it comes down to machine building, automotive has experiencing a strong transformation, but is still technology-wise in the forefront. Automation is a great example, right? The automation industries, if we take a look who is dominating the automation market, it's most of them, it's European companies. In the sensor field, in the PLC field, some of them come out of Japan, just a little out in the US. So there is, I would say, a strong industrial backbone. Obviously, we also have challenges. You mentioned, we discussed it before, the demographic change that we see. But what we also need, obviously, is a political fundament that makes us more competitive. To mention one thing, our energy pricing, if I take the gas price in Germany is 5 times higher than in China or in the US today. And obviously, that is difficult to stay competitive, especially for productions that have high energy consumptions. So I think we need a better political framework, but we also need to understand that Europe needs to be aligned. I'm a big believer that a strong Europe can make the difference. And this is why I'm also a big believer in the European Union, because the countries in Europe have to stay together, have to play their strengths together in this changing world. And the globalization is probably not gone completely, and the dream is still
as they
there, as they say. But we see a trend of protectionism. We see a trend of deglobalization. And as a company, for instance, for us, that means following that local to local strategy, adopting to local markets, but with always having a strong core and a strong fundament into Europe like we are. And this is what I believe. There is a strength in Europe, but we have to remind ourselves, we have to believe in ourselves, and we have to stay united. I think that's very important, and have the right circumstances. What I mentioned with energy. Energy is going to be a key part, not just energy price, but also energy availability is going to be a key element. And this is why the all-electric society and the electrification is going to be a very, very important part. And we also talked about sustainability. And the sustainability, I think that's something also where Europe can take, again, a very, very good place in the world to industrialize, to sustain the industry very fast and better than other countries in the world.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned once again Lublin factory, which is illustration of your concept of presence of your brand, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it shows that we have great local people here, and it shows that Lublin is also producing a lot of products for Europe, sometimes even outside Europe, but it shows that the combination of a highly automated production in Germany and a semi-automated factory in Poland is a great combination for competitiveness. That we have that on our continent are able to be competitive against any competition out of any continent in the world with that factories.
Christian, let's try to summarize our conversation and point just maybe 3 main challenges for your industry in the next few years. What do you think?
I think the challenge is the automation and digitalization is gonna grow. I think the biggest challenge for us is changes in circumstances, right? I mean, obviously, when there is a tariff decision, and I don't comment if it's good or bad, but it has an impact to a company. You have to react to that. I think one of the biggest impact is also going to be changing the company to be a fast adapter. We talked about this long-term planning versus short-term reaction. Every company, no matter how big it is, no matter how international it is, needs to have a fast speed of adaptability. And I think what needs to continue is being global, setting the global production footprint, as a company has to stay and has to be, I would say, tough and resilient against those external influences, because we can't change those. We only can adopt, and we can adopt faster to those. And obviously also understanding the new technology trends, implementing AI for the good things that AI can do. And I think that's also going to be key not just for the society, but also for us as a company to really make the right things with the AI for our customers, for our workforce, and use those technologies to make sure Turck gets 100 years old, because today we are 60 years old as a company. Turck Poland just turned 25. But I think that's the big vision, to get to the minimum to the 100 years, and being really a creator and shaping the future of the industry and automation worldwide with all our 5,000 employees.
Thank you for this fantastic conversation. I would like to say once again that we are celebrating 25 years of Turck in Poland, and we wish the next 25 years or maybe 50 years of this branch of the company in our country. Thank you once again for conversation. Our guest today was Christian Wolf, Managing Director, Turck Group. Thank you very much once again for this conversation.
It was a pleasure to be here, Tomasz, and it was a great talk.
Thank you. I hope that we will see you again in the studio, and maybe we will have more very exciting topics and very exciting matters to talk about.
I'm sure that's going to happen.
Once again. Thank you for listening, for watching, and follow us on YouTube, on Spotify, and on social media with the Turck Talk World of Automation podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.